Hi, good morning, and welcome to another edition of the special press conference from the St. Kitts Nevis National Carnival Committee. My name is Val Henry, and today we're going to be here for just about an hour, providing updates on all the activities that have taken place so far for Sugar Mass, and especially those that will be up and coming for the rest of Carnival. Would you believe, just in case you're not aware, next week is actually going to be the Power Week of Carnival. Next week is Christmas. So an advance happy Christmas, Merry Christmas to all of you. And of course, we are wishing you the very best when it comes to 2022. With me this morning is the chair of the National Carnival Committee, Shannon Harley. Also joining us is the Director of Carnival and Secretary of the Carnival Committee, Hazel Webster. And I'm honored to be joined today by King Entertainer, the first National Carnival Calypso King in the senior category back in 1971. He won the crown for the first time then in National Carnival, and he was also the first person to defend his crown, because he won back-to-back in 1971-72 and 72-73. So he's here with us this morning, and he's going to be able to share with us some of his memories and also his thoughts about Carnival in its present form. Now, let us go straight to the chair of National Carnival, Shannon Harley, who is going to give us some brief opening statements.
Good morning all, and good morning to the press who is here present with us. Well, as Val said, we are closing in on the Power Week of National Carnival. We've been hosting events over the past 5 weeks, from Calypso tents, creative arts competitions, Sugar Scope, as everyone is aware of, the FaceTime Makeup Artist Challenge. So it's been 5 weeks, but as I said, we're now moving into the Power Week, and what we're here today is to update you as to where we are as of today and answer any questions that you may have about National Carnival events moving forward. And so we look forward to your comments. Also, we just concluded our eliminations for our Calypso competition, and that went really, really well. You would note that there was a tie in the competition, so we now have eight finalists plus the Queen, so 9 finalists total, moving into the senior Calypso competition, which is scheduled for the 30th of December, and we really are looking forward to that. The music is amazing, Val. You would have heard the songs. It was very, very tight in terms of scores. Over the 2 nights. Of course, you got the typical, why wasn't I in, or they cheat. But the judge's decision is final, and so we're in a position where we can now support and promote those finalists for the competition. Upcoming though, we have this weekend is our Panorama, and you would recall last year our Panorama was a spectacle. Up to last night, Pan Group in Trinidad hosted the leader of the EBJ Harmonics, which are our reigning Panorama champions, promoting Panorama in Trinidad and expressing exactly how they felt from a Trinidadian perspective on how amazing our Panorama was last year. So we're looking forward to the Panorama this year, which is this Saturday night, and it's going to be a virtual event, and of course we're going to have individuals join us at the venue live as well. And that's this Saturday, the 18th. We then move on to our Icons Road Match edition, which will be a celebration of our bands and road match winners. We have individuals who will be joining us like Contender and Conris. We also will be having Grandmasters and Small Acts as the bands on that night. So we're looking forward to that. The swimwear pageant, which will be hosted at the Marriott Dome, of course, everywhere you go, downtown, online, social media, etc., you are witnessing the evolution of the swimwear contestants as well as the National Queen pageant contestants. The Soca Monarch Finals it's on the 23rd, and that is at Carnival Village, and that is going to be a fete. and the Soca Monarch artists are putting in 150% to ensure both groovy and power that this Soca Monarch competition will be one for the history books. Bubble Juve. Now, Bubble Juve will be hosted, we announced recently, Bubble Juve will be hosted at the Flow Grounds, and it is our hottest seller for our carnival events. We are almost sold out for Bubble Juve. It will be a moving Juve. It will be typical of what you would see on the streets. However, it will be in an enclosed venue. So we will have the bands on the tractors. They will be moving around inside the venue. We'll have powder, water, paint. We will ensure that Bubble Juve, again, the hybrid form of our typical Juve, is an experience that is worth the actual wait. We have about 12 or 13 performances so far, and we're going to be adding some more, and it's going to start at 4 a.m. go down to 11. Hopefully we may extend it a bit more, and that is something that we're going to look at this week, because people have been saying that's not enough time, we need more time, and this is our thing. So we're looking at extending it a bit, but it really is our hottest seller, and we are going to be almost sold, well, we're almost sold out, and we hope that we will be sold out by the end of this week. The National Carnival Queen Pageant is also going to be hosted in the Marriott Dome, and we're also looking forward to that pageant. It's the second in line as it relates to hot tickets, and you know, the tickets from the day we opened ticketing online, tickets have been flying for the National Carnival Queen Pageant and the swimwear pageant. And then, of course, on the 30th, we will end the year with our senior National Bank Senior Monarch finals, where you will have, as I said previously, 9 finalists singing 2 songs, 2 rounds. And then on the 3rd of January, we have our Sugar Mass Awards. And the Sugar Mass Awards will be honoring individuals for, you know, longevity, excellence in Sugar Mass. And we'll be honoring a lot of firsts. Individuals like Entertainer, who is the first senior Calypso Monarch, the first Queen Pageant winner we will be honoring. So we have about 50 or 60 honorees that will go down for our Sugar Mass Awards, and we are just finalizing the logistics as it relates to those awards, and we will be providing updates on that award ceremony shortly to the general public. So there you have it. It is a calendar that has been really, we've worked really hard on as the National Carnival Committee. We've put 150% into every event that we have hosted to date, despite the challenges that we have faced. Right now, those challenges are behind us, and we're looking forward to the next 2 weeks, over the next 2 weeks, as we host our final set of competitions for Sugar Mass 50.
Well, as you heard from the chair, the tickets for the Bubble Juve, they're going fast, and also for the Queen Pageant competition, I know that their preferred seating arrangements and also the general seating arrangements, please do not wait until all the preferred seatings are sold out and then you said that's what you wanted, because we do that very often. So make sure that you do go and pick up your tickets for the swimsuit and also for the Queen Pageant. If it is preferred you need, get them early, get them now. But the chair also said that the tickets for Bubble Juve also going fast. Was it last year with a limited audience you had 10 times the amount of people outside,
yes,
hoping that they could get in?
Yes, last minute. And you know, our ticketing is pre-sold. We're trying not to sell any tickets at the gate. We want to ensure that the process of entering the venue is as smooth as possible. So get your tickets now. Whether it's online at skncarnival.com or at our office, tickets are available. Get them now, especially for Bubble Juve.
Yes.
We don't want you to be disappointed. We have limited numbers. We're going to host about 700 people. So get your tickets now.
So be in the 700 spot for Bubble Juve. I'm now going to turn to the Director of Carnival and the Secretary of the Carnival Committee, Hazel Webster, to talk to us about the latest for Panorama.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Val. So Panorama this year, we have 7 groups that are participating in the competition on Saturday the 18th. On Friday, we conducted the picking for the order of appearance. I can now list. In first position, we have Sweet Sticks, which is a group out of Nevis. Second position is Nevis Pan Ensemble. Third, Owali Rhythms. Fourth is the reigning champions, EBJ Harmonics. 5, Young Vibrations. 6, Fantastic Steel Orchestra. And 7, NGU Steel Orchestra. Now, 4 of the 7 groups that are participating is out of Nevis. We also did the preparation fees to each group, which was $2,000 per group in preparing for the show on Saturday. I don't think Shannon mentioned it, but we also increased the prize money this year for the show. The winning group, it's $15,000. First runner position, it's $12,000. Second runner-up, $8,000. Third runner-up, $6,000. And for the non-placers, they would get $3,000.
Remind us of last year's Panorama.
Last year's Panorama was the first for me in experience. It went off well valid. It was well received, and it's going to be a good show based on conversations and with the groups that are participating. Everybody's hyped and looking forward to Saturday.
The groups you mentioned last year, there was an all-female group from Nevis. Are they back in? It's had people like Sharon Brantley. It's a more matured group.
Yeah, it's a more matured group. No, they're not in. They're not in.
My favorite groups.
But this year, though, we have one of the groups that is mostly children.
Okay.
Yes, the NGU Steel Orchestra.
Where they're from?
St. Kitts.
Okay.
And we were able to include the children who are under 18 and who will be entering the venue with their parents because, of course, regulations, etc., allow for that. So the Panorama is actually, we started off with it being a virtual, 100% virtual. However, we will be allowing a limited audience in live audience for Panorama. And we're working with a live vaccinated audience. We're actually working with the PAN groups for them to provide us with a list of their guests that they would want. Because it's really, really, if you recall last year, the competition, a lot of people did not recognize how much work that these young people put into the Panorama. I mean, they work all year round. And because of COVID, they had a number of setbacks because of the use of youth and community centers, etc., that were closed over a period during the height of the pandemic. But they work really, really hard, and a number of people were able to log on last year and actually view Panorama for the first time, because in previous years, Panorama, we always teamed it up with another competition. We always had it either maybe at the opening, or we had it around the circus, teaming it up with a folklore competition, etc. But we felt that the time was right to last year ensure that Panorama had its own main stage, and that was what we did. And then, of course, the PAN groups not complained, but they worked very closely along with us. And they suggested, please look at increasing our prize money. There's so many individuals in these groups, and of course they have to tune their pans, they have to buy new pans, etc. And we felt that this year, even though we couldn't, we would have liked to do much more, but at least we were able to increase the prize money for the Panorama groups, and they were very happy and grateful for it. And we're really, really looking forward to a fantastic competition come Saturday.
Chair, I want to challenge you by indicating that it is possible, not now because of the COVID restrictions, for Panorama in the future to even sell out the cricket stadium in terms of the seats. It is possible.
Yeah.
that's the potential of Panorama, and it's really good to see it coming back in the way that it has. Well, also with us, as I mentioned earlier, is our distinguished guest. He is the King Entertainer. He won the crown in 1971, and he defended it successfully in 1972. And he continued for a short while, and then he went off the scene because he migrated to the United States. But he's back, and he's back this year when we're celebrating the 50th anniversary. So I want to invite him at this point to give some remarks. The King Entertainer.
Thank you very much, Mr. Henry, and I want to say how grateful I am to all of you who had made it possible for me to be here. And I'm so impressed because St. Kitts is always my home. St. Kitts and Nevis. And when I heard the president here now talking about the Panorama, you know, it made me feel real good. A few years ago, I went down to St. Thomas, and I saw these school kids playing steel pan. And one of those girls had to stand on 2 beer boxes to play the pan. And I was so impressed. And I wanted to know, why is it that we cannot get things like this going on in St. Kitts? Maybe at that time, perhaps it had already begun. Yes. But we don't know. You see, this is why it's good to have people to sell these things to the public, because then you hear all kind of stuff on the radio and all about the place. This is not happening, this is not happening. But sometimes behind closed doors, these things already begun. You know, so I'm feeling so proud to know that we're making such a bold step with the Panorama and with the kids and so on. As far as the Carnival is concerned, I think that they are doing a very, very good job with this virtual thing, because it appears to me like it destroyed nearly everything around the Caribbean or in the whole world. So we have to really put our foot forward to make sure that other people could learn from what we are doing. So I'm hoping that whenever the time comes, we will make the correct decision and to allow people to come in and really view and see what we are doing, because I think that we have made tremendous strides, especially from the time when I began to what it is now in Calypso. We had what you call combo bands, like Heat Waves and those guys. We didn't have a lot of blowing instruments and so on. So whenever you make your songs, you have to make sure the lines are well filled, because nothing there to protect you, understand? It had gotten so well now that you don't even have to go to the band house now to practice. I was here a couple of years ago at Cloud 9. They had invited me down to sing at Cloud 9 down there. And I told Mr. Isaac, I said, you have to get me to the band house. He said to me, what band house? He said, what band house you talking about? So what you say, you got to go and practice. He said, you got to know about that, man. You got to practice. Went in the night, and these people, only one person I knew in the band, that is Mr. Hicks. And they backed me up as well as anything else. I had to stop one of the songs to kind of congratulate them on what they were doing and so on. So, and this is a couple of years ago, probably, I think this was 2014, I think it was. So, I think that we are making tremendous stride, and we need people to encourage these people who are at the forefront and getting all the heat, because, I mean, I have 2 years and then they're gone by as yet. I've heard all kinds of stuff since I come here. And if I was supposed to hate some people, I would have. But there's some of them I like to hear from both sides. And some people don't know, some people talk, and they don't know most of the time that they don't know what they're saying. So I'm very, very proud of what is going on, and I'm here to help in whatever way I could, with all of the appointments and so on that I have gotten since I came here. I'm very, very glad that I could come around and kind of share some of my experience. You know, because I was at a school on Saturday, young kids, and I'm so impressed because I really couldn't speak to the kids because they were only 5 years old. So I had to speak to the parents and tell them, when you get a chance, then you have to kind of break it down for them to understand what I'm saying, because they themselves wasn't around when I when I was king. They were never born yet. You know, so it's good to share whatever you know and to bring forth the experience from before. To know where we're coming from is very important. That everyone should know where they're coming from, because you're not going to know where you're going if you don't know. And I guess this kind of upbringing that we came from make us what we are today.
What was the band that backed you guys in 71?
Maurice Orchestra. That's the first time they had the blowing instrument to the band at the time. Van Maurice Orchestra. So that was the first time that they really sing with horns at the time. And it happened so that I'm a lucky man. I mean, I might not have been here. I mean, you all might not have known me really through Calypso, but the night when I went, that was the last practice they had before the semifinals. And Mr. Robinson said, I'm going to practice one other guy and you come. So he called a fellow by the name of Lachlan Bar. And he was a good friend of mine too. He said, no, take an entertainer. He said, no, I want you because you're here every night. And then there's another fellow by the name of Bob Sullivan who worked with me at the post station. He said, Robbie, man, this guy could sing, man. He never did hear me sing. So anyway, he said, okay, you come. So I went and go through the song, go to the other song. Then they really wanted to go. It was after 10 o'clock the night. They said, okay, we have it, you know. The next night, the semifinals, you know. We got down at the park, and when the program began, Valmaus came at the time. He wasn't practicing the night before, and he led off the song with trumpet, and it was the wrong song he was playing. So then they had to stop the band, and by this time, you know, the crowd going, I'm bad down there. This fellow get up, he said, you think you bowl into Vivian Richards? Boy, this is Calypso. But anyway, that thing went off well, and the semifinals, and then the next day, as a matter of fact, I tell people this all the time, I really never entered to come to Crown. I entered because I had a problem with something that they did a couple years before to a friend of mine. Because, you know, it's really hard. Now I go up and so I understand. It's not easy to judge culture. Can't really judge people culture. You understand? It's not easy. So you have to give in a lot of time to these things. So I decided if I could go there and make these people feel proud of what I did, my job has been done. So I went there and I sang this Judge Calypso, and it took off like that. The next morning, people meet me. One gentleman met me. He said to me, he said, who wrote the song? I said, I did. He said, you think you could remember everything that you said last night? I said, yes. He said, well, if you sing that song like how you sing, nobody gonna beat you. So that is I had in my thoughts when I got up the night to sing, and it just worked out for me.
We're going to go to the media for any questions in a short moment, but two things I want to challenge you on. And one you just mentioned about your friend challenging you about if you remember in the song. Do you remember the lines of that song, Judge Calypso?
Of course. As a matter of fact, it might sound crazy. One night I leave from home. It's only about maybe 5 or 6 minutes from where I live to the post station. But by the next morning when I going home, this song was finished already. It's one of the quickest songs that I ever did.
How it go?
Huh?
How it go?
How it
as locally, how it go?
Oh, okay. It's like, for years and years I've been wondering how these people do Judge Calypso King. Every year is the same confusion. The way they judge the Calypso crown. This year, I want you to know, this is how we can judge the Calypso. We can judge on the appearance of the Calypsonian, the way they dress for the occasion, the approach to the audience must be polite. That's how we can judge Calypso tonight.
Well,
so I put it in that form because I really wanted this to be at the end. So if the crowd is going to laugh, they laugh during the time when the band is playing.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Very important.
You got to try and do that because you're trying to do as much thing too. You want to baffle the judge's mind too. Right? So this is just what happened.
Great. We're going to move now to our friends from the media, and we thank you very much for joining us. And we also want to say, by extension, thanks to the media in St. Kitts and Nevis who have been assisting the promotion of Carnival, not only this year, but throughout its entire 50-year history. As we await the first question, just want to ask you quickly, who were first run-up and second run-up in your first year?
Sweeney was the first one. I don't remember who was second.
I think it might have been Barkey.
No, because Barker didn't complete his song.
No? When you say complete, what you mean?
His first song was good, but the second one he got.
He did. Traditional Barkey.
Yeah.
Yes, go right ahead.
Hi, pleasant good morning to everyone. I'm Shani Carvey from ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation. Okay, first question. JTS being a part of the Soca Monarch competition, how is it possible that the official Sugar Mass song was able to be a part of other competitions? Secondly, is the song the property of the National Carnival? And if so, how was it allowed to be submitted for other competitions? This one is for the Panorama competition. Are all participants over 18 vaccinated? Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, so as it relates to JTS, from the beginning, that was not a part of the rules and regulations of the Soca Monarch competition. There was nowhere in our agreement with the soca artists that stated that they could not enter any other competition for National Carnival. So in terms of JTS entering, their song is not the property of National Carnival as well. So just to be very clear on that, the song competition and the song that won was strictly to promote National Carnival, to be used to promote National Carnival, but their song is not the property of National Carnival, one, and two, the rules and regulations for the Soca Monarch, nowhere in those rules and regulations state that the artists cannot enter any other competition. And to be clear on that, we had over 40 artists initially who submitted their entries or requests or their applications to be part of the Soca Monarch competition. We had a number of meetings with all of the Soca Monarch artists. All of the Soca Monarch artists knew exactly who were entering the Soca Monarch competition because there is also a group chat. We've had, as I said, meetings with all of the artists. What I found though is that now that the finalists were announced, then we had people come in, some of the artists who did not make it, and say, well, how come they are entering the competition? And I felt that if it was an issue prior to that, if any one of the artists had an issue with JTS prior to them being judged to the finals, I think they should have raised it from the outset, and that was never raised until the point where they were a part of the finals.
Actually, just to support that, when the song competition was launched, the Carnival Committee had made it clear that the winning song or the songs can compete in other competitions. So it was as early as back then, it was stated clearly that the song can be used. I think it was clearly articulated for Soca Monarch, for Road Match, or for whatever. And that was designed to help encourage them to have a song, not just for a competition, but a song with some longevity.
The question as to vaccination. The one of the groups that's participating, like I said before, it's primarily children, and because of that, which is why the decision was made to have the show virtual again, they said to protect everyone, because of course, the children aren't able to be vaccinated.
And to be clear, all of the adults 18 and over are vaccinated. We've already received, as with all of our shows, all of the participants have to provide the National Carnival Committee with their ID as well as their vaccination cards prior to the competition. And then, of course, our gates, the individuals at our gates have a list of every individual who would be entering the venue. So in terms of vaccination status, every individual PAN group member who is 18 and over must be vaccinated. As Hazel said, there is a group who are under 18, and as such, the regulations and rules do not apply to children under the age of 18, but they must be accompanied by a vaccinated adult. So that is really what we're for the pan competition. So there are no rules applying to the pan competition that were not applied to any of the other competitions or events for any of our Sugar Mass active calendar.
And it's consistent with the national COVID regulations as well.
Good morning, Glenn Bath from SK Newsline. Now, over the past 10 years, thereabout, there has been some fall-off attendance to Calypso shows. It's almost as if people were losing interest in the Calypso art form, and soca had basically taken off. How does that affect your marketing strategy? Because you're basically doing a lot of online activity now along with the in-person showtime kind of thing. But how did that kind of situation affect the way you market the Calypso show?
Applies to all of our events, actually. What a decision was made last year, well, not a decision, we were forced, we had no other choice last year but to have the virtual, 100% virtual events for National Carnival. We felt that that was actually an advantage for us because it not only, our reach was not only in St. Kitts, but so many individuals regionally, internationally, even now you see for the eliminations for the tents, you see so many nationals living overseas logged on and a part of the competitions and the events that we've been hosting, and actively you see the comments, etc. So last year the aim was to ensure that our virtual events would take off and promote our National Carnival in St. Kitts, throughout the region and internationally. This year we have had the opportunity to have a live audience. What we realized though is that individuals are so accustomed to staying home now and, you know, having their popcorn and a beer and watching the competitions, not only from home, from various, you know, shops around the island, etc., that even though we are allowing for a live event, for instance, the Calypso, we have recognized that, you know, the live events has the live participation in terms of audience has been very small. Just because of that. We see hundreds of people logged on and enjoying it and providing their comments and, you know, watching it as, you know, friends and family. But in terms of live audience, we've realized that the numbers have been small. What we're looking at, and we'll make a decision this week, is for our final events, for our Queen shows in particular, because of a number of reasons, including copyright infringement, etc., when airing shows on social media that may be using songs that have that copyright, you find that social media mutes, deletes sometimes videos, etc. So it would be difficult for us to have the Queen shows live on social media. So we are looking at, of course, pay-per-view. And we're looking at that for all of our final events, and that will include the Calypso competition. Because we have about, I think it's 5 former monarchs in the competition this year. So the competition is tight, and we don't want people to just log on and watch online. We want our Calypsonians to feel people's individual energy in the audience. So again, we're looking at having our finals to be paid online and encourage more individuals to purchase tickets and come in and support the Calypsonians. They have worked really, really hard. The committee has worked really hard to ensuring that the show is top quality. So we encourage you not only to stay at home and watch the show, but come in and enjoy it and enjoy the energy of the venue.
Yes, go right ahead.
I'm Dominique from Win FM. Do you have a specific layout for the Bubble Juve event? And how will you ensure there isn't any party-style dancing at Bubble Juve? And lastly, how many fringe events are there going to be?
Thank you for your question, Val. I'm sorry, without you even, because I'm excited. So a number of things. Bubble Juve, as I said previously, will be as we're trying to make it as traditional as possible. So what we will do is we will have each band entering the venue one at a time on a tractor, a trailer, the traditional trailers that they would use, and they would actually circle the venue with individuals behind them, similar to what you would see typical Juve experience. I am not sure about anything about party style dancing. I have never heard of it. In terms of the Juve is an experience with fully vaccinated individuals. I'm not sure how we're going to, and I will not for sure be stopping anybody from dancing. Sorry.
They'll do Juve type dancing.
Juve type, okay. No, but I'm just saying that the Juve experience, the traditional Juve experience, is one of dancing. And we are going to have, it's a very big venue. The venue is large enough with a very small live audience who are fully vaccinated. So I don't think the Carnival Committee's intention is to stop anyone from dancing and having fun. I think that is the end of year. We've made it thus far. We want everybody to be as safe as possible. At the same time, we want everybody to enjoy themselves.
Yeah, good question. But it's a balance that is being worked on. Of course, the Carnival Committee wants people to have a successful carnival and enjoy themselves. At the same time, working with the task force to make sure that we all are safe. And the task force is more particular in terms of its concern with indoor activities and the closeness of, partying indoor than they perhaps are with the outside. But it's a bubble Juve. Juve is about dancing, really. So all the protocols are being put in place to make sure the people entering the venue are vaccinated and are in a safer realm to cut down on the risk for COVID. Go right ahead.
Shani Carvey again from ZIZ Broadcasting. A question coming in here from persons listening. They're saying that there's something going around about some bad members for the Bubble Juve not being fully vaccinated. Can you confirm this?
So every single individual who will be entering any carnival event it must be vaccinated. So if you see that we have a band listed, that band must provide us with a list of their members and their vaccination ID. If they are not vaccinated, they either replace that member or the band does not perform. It's simple as that. We have been following the protocols set by the COVID-19 task force, and as a National Carnival Committee, it would be, we are really, really ensuring that we stick to it. So if you see a band performing and that band does not have 100% vaccinated individuals, we will know at some point because you have to provide us with your IDs. So it is a pretty straightforward process.
All right. We await further questions from the media. In doing so, I want to go back briefly to the King Entertainer. You're defending your crown and you won a second time. Tell me about the first victory and tell me about your feelings going into the second competition.
Well, the first victory, as I said, it never really did sunk in until sometime after. And when you find out that, here's it, that you, the National Calypso King of St. Kitts and Nevis, it gives you so much of pleasure, one, and two, I don't know if I want to call it a straight jacket, but it makes you have to kind of live a certain kind of life to please everybody. Everybody is looking and hearing what you're saying. And probably it wasn't as hard as some people will think it was, because I had my neighbors, I had ministers of churches, my teachers, and those kind of people to guide me along the way. People who you respect. So a lot of time you would think about stepping out the line and so you really don't want to do that. You understand? And then when the second time came about now, I started to wonder what could I do to kind of repeat what I did. Well, I always am a man of the economy and this kind of stuff, understand? And something tells me probably it's a good idea for me to sing about agriculture, because we was having a problem at the same time, big problem. Still have it anyway, but it's much better, you know. So one of the things about it is that I learned at early o'clock, you got to keep away from the crowd. People talk about fellas who are good writers and writers. Everybody could write. Depends on what you're going to write and how you're going to write it. So the further away you keep from the crowd who might be trying to compose on one thing, it's better it is for you. The judges have a better chance to listen to you because you're alone singing around that same thing. So I
remember what element accused you of?
Yes. And
he accused you of always singing only about agriculture.
Agriculture. But then what happened the very next year, he sang about it too. Because, you know, everybody really see that this is something that needed in the country, you know.
Yes, that was a time when the country was going through some real perils in terms of the agriculture sector, sugar in particular.
Could you address the Icons Road March edition? What format is it going to take? And what should people expect from that particular show? And secondly, with regards to judging in any of the shows, what kind of criteria did you use to select judges for the various shows?
So in terms of Icons, it's a concert-style event, similar to what we had last year. We had all of the bands last year. We had New Vibes, Grandmasters, Small Acts. They put on their best performance. Unfortunately, again, because of COVID-19 and vaccination status of some of the bands, we were unable to have all of the bands performing. We will also have some artists singing covers. So basically, not all of the Road March songs will be performed, right? However, we'll have some artists singing some of the Road March songs. Currently, we are in negotiations, as I want to call it, with King Elimat in terms of his music and how we would go about using his music. But that's under negotiation daily. In terms of the other question you had was the... In terms of the criteria. Criteria. Well, so we have a pool of judges. We have a judge selection committee for all of our competitions. And we have a pool of judges who are with us throughout the years. We select a head judge, and basically we select from that pool of judges on an annual basis. So the judges are very familiar with the criteria. These are judges who judge both, you know, sometimes in Nevis, sometimes here. We have judges from Nevis, we have judges from St. Kitts, so we have a mixed group of judges that we use. And I think that the judges are more than capable. The judges selected for all of our shows are more than capable of judging, and their decision is final as it relates to all of our events. So we don't question at the end of the day, the judges. Your song is applicable every year, because you hear individuals asking the same thing, well, how you judge the Calypso show. And that is what we've been hearing recently. Well, we hear it every year, but it can actually be applied throughout the years. It's very fitting. You know.
I just want to give a plug. Saturday at 8 o'clock to about 10 o'clock on ZIZ Radio. Join me and Jazzy D, and our topic is going to be Calypso Controversy. And we're going to begin with the Calypso competition of 71, 72, etc. And we're going to state very clearly as to when the controversy started with Calypso, who are some of the culprits who created that controversy, which exists today. We go back to our friends from the media.
Okay, so inquiring minds would like to know, will we see performances from the Soca Monarch finalists for the Bubble Juve, as well as will there be a stage for the artists and DJs?
So people are really excited about this Bubble Juve. But yes, we will see soca artists performing. We did not include them specifically on the flyer because we did not want it to be seen by us that prior to the finals, we are promoting any one particular soca artist. So we decided to leave them out. But soca artists, the popular ones, will be performing, as well as the Monarchs will be performing for Juve. We will have one of our tractors, trailers, will be stationary. That will be used for the DJs to perform, as well as the soca artists. So we will have a stationary tractor trailer in the venue.
So Juve starts at
4 a.m.
4 a.m.
Yeah.
and it ends at when we finish?
On the flyer says 11.
When we finish?
Until the task force come. That's a joke. That's a joke, okay? That's a joke. But it finishes at 11. We will be, it finishes at 11. And again, we're working closely with the police, working closely with the task force. We're asking you to be on your best behavior. But it's a big enough venue for you to enjoy yourself without being crammed.
Word to the wise, going to Bubble Juve, put your Vax card and ID and wallet in some sort of plastic, a zipper locker
put it on
bag,
your phone.
or put your Vax card on your phone so you don't have to walk with the actual physical paper card.
Yeah, we're encouraging
Yes.
people it's a very easy process to upload your card electronically. Get your card uploaded electronically because it's much easier for us and for you as well. You don't want to get it wet.
So come with your good behavior, come with your wallet, because there'll be vendors inside.
Yes, there'll be vendors inside.
Selling food and drink. And rest before you come to Bubble Juve and walk with your rags, your flags, and your Vax cards.
I just wanted to know what was the status of fringe events given the short notice.
Okay, so the intention initially, of course, there's no carnival in the world without fringe events. I don't even like to call it fringe events because these events are just as important as National Carnival events. And what we said last year was that the National Carnival Committee, the intention is to more step back in hosting, yes, we have our traditional events, but step back because they know where we want to compete with these event promoters who really put all in to actually make National Carnival or support National Carnival. So the intention was to really have two calendars, a National Carnival core activity calendar and then another calendar to be released subsequently to include fringe events. However, based on what we're seeing that has been happening and the fringe event promoters having to submit their actual event proposals to the police, right, it has been difficult for us to include those events on our calendar. However, what we are doing is that once we see that the fringe events, we're seeing quite a number of fringe events being approved by the police and the COVID-19 task force, we will do our very best to promote those events. We see a number of events, Top Off Brunch, we see BFF Brunch, we see Chatterbox is also having a Juve on the 26th. We see Chatterbox doing a boat, right? So we're seeing more and more events, and the event promoters have actually been forwarding their approvals to us and saying, hey, please assist us in promoting. So we will do our very best in promoting these events because you never hear anyone going to typically a carnival, a popular carnival for National Carnival event. You would hear them talk about they're going to Trinidad Carnival or they're going to St. Lucia Carnival, etc. for a specific fete, a popular fete that forms part of the carnival. So we hope that there are as many fringe events that are approved for this year. I know it's very, very short notice. And then, of course, moving forward 2022, we intend to work really closely with the Ministry of Entertainment, Ministry of Tourism, fringe event promoters or supporting event promoters to actually promote our National Carnival from very early next year.
We enter in the final stages of our conference. If you have any more questions, now would be the time to get them in. Just want to go quickly to the Calypso show. The Calypso show, you said this year we're going to have 9 persons in the finals, including the reigning monarch. So in the end, we are going to have 4 persons who would have won the crown for National Carnival in that finals, and others who have won crowns, like female competition, Culturama competition. So it's going to be truly a competitive event on the 30th of December. The Queen and the swimsuit competition. The Queen pageant is on the 29th. The swimsuit is on the 22nd. Any updates on those as to what's happening, whether it is tickets or anything?
Yeah, we are actually starting the preparation of the venue from today, and you know that both competitions will be at the Marriott Dome, so we are starting to install the stage, lighting, etc. today. So we're really looking forward to that, so that the girls can get their practicing in, and that dome is actually dedicated to them, so that they don't have to share the stage with any of the other competitions who will be practicing leading up to the Power Week, as we call it. So, I mean, the girls are working really, really hard behind the scenes, and have been. We selected the girls since earlier this year. You've seen their transformation, their confidence. They've gone through a number of behind-the-scenes sessions with a number of trainers, coaches, etc. And we really, really are looking forward to those competitions. It's an amazing set of girls. The camaraderie between them is not anything that you've ever seen before. They're truly, truly, truly an amazing, brilliant set of young ladies, those 10 young ladies. And I just want to thank the chairs of those 2 competitions, Trevesia Adams and Samantha Boone, who have really, and their teams, who have really, really worked hard into ensuring that these competitions are top class, and we're looking forward to them.
And last night there was an event.
Yes. So the minister hosted an event specifically for the young ladies last night, a cocktail event, and they were there and they were allowed to introduce themselves, as well as mingle with the small attendees, individuals in attendance. And they really have come a long way, and we really, really want you to come out and support them, especially for those pageants. The tickets are selling quickly. Online, I think the preferred seating for the National Carnival Queen competition is sold out. However, we still have a few tickets for the preferred seating in the office. So we want to encourage you. Yes, it's 2 weeks away, but we want to encourage you to please come and buy your tickets for these events early. Now, put them up, save them, gift them, because the tickets will be sold out come next week.
The office is located where those hot tickets are?
We are located on the 2nd floor in the E.C. Daniel building on Keon Street, right next to the gas station.
For people like Entertainer, that's in where SPCK used to be. Not everybody will understand it.
Or opposite Saheli.
Or opposite Saheli. Right. Or next to the gas station on top of 4th Street.
Right.
Just want to tell you that you, the public, you have an opportunity to meet, mingle with, take photos with the Carnival contestants this Friday on 4th Street. They'll be making some rounds around Bastille, so you'll have an opportunity to mingle with them, take your selfies with them. They're also going to be on a joint radio interview, so look out for them both on Freedom and on ZIZ. Additionally, the soca artists and the calypso finalists, they're going to be, and I'm looking forward to this, by the way, they're going to be on a joint radio interview, and it's going to be a lot of calypso picong, a lot of calypso bacchanal, trash talking, and all of that to see what's going to happen for the big finals, because it's going to be a super soca finals and calypso finals. So just want to remind you of that. Similarly, you're going to be hearing more this week from the Panorama Panyards. They'll be on a number of interviews as well, so look out for that as we enter the Power Week for Sugar Mass 50. We're going to go to our closing statements, and I'm going to start with Hazel.
So, as Val said, the Panorama is on Saturday, December 18th at 8 p.m. Please log on, support your groups. It's going to be an exciting show.
Entertainer.
Well, I'm very glad for this opportunity to speak to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis and ask them please to support supportive people in everything that they do. And what we're doing here now, as Carnival is concerned, we really need your support to get behind these entertainers and people who are taking part. It's not easy, but we have to do it because we are here against the world. We are on our own now. So the more we can get behind our people, the best thing for us.
By the way, just for the records and people know, you once performed with your brother.
Yes, yes.
Competed with your brother.
Yes. And my brother competed with me.
Ah! His name was
Stumper.
Yes, Stumper was also a favorite Calypsonian of mine. I like to see him on stage performing. And we go to closing remarks from the Carnival Chair, Shannon Harley.
Well, I just want to thank the head table entertainer. Thank you. You were king 8 years before I was born. So it's a pleasure and really respect that you had the opportunity to come and join us, and I really respect your words and your wisdom. In terms of what I didn't mention, in terms of our folklore, because there's no carnival without folklore, and we've been working closely with the Ministry of Culture to see how we could include the folklore. And on the calendar, we had the Folklore Avenue set for the 15th and as well as the 22nd. And of course, with COVID comes a lot of challenges. So what we have been working on with the Ministry of Culture, the Department of Culture, is to create just pockets. So what you'll be seeing over the next 2 weeks is just pockets popping up of folklore groups in various communities, downtown Bastia, very short performances, just for individuals to get that Christmas carnival feel, because the energy, we need to have that energy. It does not only apply to our events, but the energy needs to be there downtown. It needs to pop up in our communities, etc. So you'll be seeing a number of pop-ups for our folklore groups over the next few weeks, few days, and we're looking forward to that. And again, I'm encouraging you to come out and support your culture. It can't, I mean, we've had a lot of bacchanal, and there's no carnival without bacchanal. There's no carnival without, this is all a part of it. It's all a part of the excitement that leads up to our national carnival. We know of the challenges, but for us, it's about moving forward and how we're going to complete our task in ensuring that our national carnival 50th anniversary is one that it should be remembered for what it is. So we're encouraging you to come out, support live our events. If you can't support us live, please log on and support our National Carnival events over the next few weeks. We are working very hard as a National Carnival Committee of Volunteers, Executive Committee of Volunteers. So we're working really, really hard behind the scenes, and we just want to encourage you to support.
And we thank the National Task Force for COVID for the cooperation that they have provided and continue to provide. And we thank you, the public, for the support that you've been given to Carnival, and especially those of you living overseas who are very dedicated to the live streams that come each time there is a event taking place. As we close, I want to say thanks to all the listeners of ZIZ Radio who have joined us, the viewers of ZIZ Radio who followed this press conference this morning, and also to those who joined us via Freedom FM Radio. We look forward to the next event for Sugar Bash 50, and that's going to be on Friday at Carnival Village with the Grand Panorama. I'm Val Henry. Have a great morning.